everyone, it's Kay Sharnice and I'm back with another sewing tutorial, and today's video is gonna be me showing you guys how I adjust the waist of one of my pants that I bought a little bit too big. And so let's get started with this video so that you can learn how to sew. As you guys can see, the pants is fitting me really loose around my waist, and I want it to be a little more snug, so that's what we're going to be doing today, and we will no longer have that issue. Let's get into the tools that we are going to be needing for this project today. Here I have some safety pins, elastic, a pair of scissors, and of course my pants and my sewing machine. Okay, so to get started, you can see here that I am marking out the point that I want to cut so that my elastic will be able to feed through the waist of this pants. And I decided to make a little snip underneath the tag just so I won't be able to see where I made that incision. You don't have to do it this way. You can cut anywhere on the waistband, and just make sure that you're not cutting in to the bottom of on the outside of the waist, because obviously you're gonna have a big hole on the outside of your pants and you don't want to do that. So just cut the thin part on the inside of the pants. And you can see here, I only cut the top part of it. The second step of this project is to take an elastic band and measure around your waist of how snug you want it to be for the pants. And once you have it to your liking, just go ahead and snip that piece off, and then you'll be ready to feed it in. And here you can see what I measured to be suitable for my waist. Now you're going to take a safety pin and attach it at the end of the elastic so that you can start feeding it through the waistband of the pants. And it does not matter which end you start on, it just needs to be inserted inside of that cut that you made. So you can see here that I just had to bend the end of it a little bit to fit inside of the hole that I made. And yeah, so I'm just gonna start feeding it through until it reaches to the end of the other side. It may look like this is a very tedious task, but I promise you that it probably took me like 2 to 3 minutes to get the elastic fed through to the other side. Another thing that's really important is to secure the loose end of the elastic, because you don't want the elastic to pull through as you're feeding the other side through the waistband, because you're going to have to start the process all over again, and you don't want to do that. So that'll just make sure that the elastic stays in place. Now as I'm getting closer to the other side, you can see here that I'm just making sure that I'm very careful with this so that I don't pull too hard and cause the other side to come through, even though that it is secure with the safety pin. And I'm just pulling it out because it's really scrunched up, as you can see. Right here, I'm just trying to take out the pin that I had on the loose end so that I can bring both ends of the elastic together to start sewing. And there we go, guys. I have both ends of the elastic. I will no longer be needing those safety pins, so I'm just gonna put them to the side so that I can start my zigzag stitch to attach both ends of the elastic. Before I started sewing, I thought it would be a good idea to hold both ends in place with a pin, but as I began sewing, I noticed that I was having issues with my needle getting jammed, and I thought the pin was the reason why. So I had to take it out and, just sew without it, and it worked. So you can definitely play around with it because you do not want to break your needle, and I feared that I was gonna break my needle, so I just removed it and I just held both ends in place with my finger, and it worked. I had no. Here I'm just showing that I'll be using a zigzag stitch, and I also changed the length and the width of my stitch. Also, you want to make sure that you adjust the tension of your stitch because you don't want it to be too tight, that it's breaking, and you don't want it to be too loose. Despite that little hiccup, I was able to get the job done. Now both ends are safely secured. Now I'm just tucking the elastic away inside of the waistband, and you can just go ahead and use a needle and thread and hand stitch that hole closed. There you have it. Now I'm just stretching it out so that it's not too scrunched up. So now the elastic has been added to the waistband, and you can see here that it's kind of scrunched up, but that's only because now the waist is adjusted to fit me a little tighter. And I don't know, it's kind of cute like this, but it's not going to stay like that because of course when I put it on, it's going to stretch out and fit me the way I need it to. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and try these on and let you guys see the finished product. I know I mentioned earlier that you can hand stitch that hole closed. I didn't because I think I'm gonna add a thicker, like a 2-inch elastic in this waistband so that I won't have that bulged up fabric in the back. So here is the elastic that I'm talking about.